Welcome back to the Mark and Will Show as we have Miss Kourtney and Kennedy here just giving us all type of game on the dating game. So, Mark, as you were stating earlier, like, and we were talking about lusting at the break. The realism of if, and we can look at both sides, but we'll say from a male perspective, when you're on social media and they're DMing, 9 times out of 10, are they really DMing to try to elevate and put you at a higher level, or do you think they're really DMing because they are lusting at what they see and they're trying to shoot their shot as for a quick opportunity? Like, how do you all take that when y'all get that a lot of times?
Well, that's a good question. I feel like in the past, I kind of took it in a way like that's what I thought it was. Like when a guy DM'd me, it was purely like out of the flesh and out of lust. But as I kind of grew more in in my spiritual journey, I've started to notice that that's a factor, and some guys can tell the difference between like lusting and then truly wanting to get to know someone for the long run, not just because of what they see.
Right. Now, do you understand that's like kind of few and far between in today's time? Because unfortunately, what we see, a lot of people, they're more along the lines of lusting. It's really not from a spiritual sense. It's really, and then it's also lusting in the flesh. To me, those go hand in hand, because we did a segment on return of investment. Think about it when you're, let's say, over at the Star, let's say at Concrete Cowboy or Common Table, and a guy comes up and buy each and every one of you a drink. Now, when that guy buys you a drink, what are you automatically thinking?
Oh, well, yeah, that's obvious. It's like you saw some kind of attraction. You're trying to impress us,
right,
to eventually get to that, the whole lusting. But
right.
Yeah.
Why Mark? Can you believe this? Because most people, like, remember we've had a couple of older statesmen that they didn't. Oh, he liked me. He was just being a good Samaritan. He was being kind. No one's buying you a drink just to be kind. That's one is a conversation starter. To get your name, to get your number, and then the overall end game in most cases is what? To go from first base.
Exactly.
Back to home,
right?
Thinking, oh, now I'm getting into your bed. Unfortunately, 100%. That's in most cases 9 times out of 10. So when people sit there thinking, oh, it's just innocent, no, there's a long-term intent behind that. So, like we tell a lot of people, if you can just identify those detractors in the beginning, that'll save you in some cases 18 years of pain. If you really think about it, because most people don't think about it because they get caught up in the moment. They get hit with the liquid courage. Oh, he's buying me drinks and just, showering me, and I don't have to pay for anything. But in the long run, you're going to pay with a broken heart. In the long run, you're going to pay with 18 months or 18 years of co-parenting with a person that realistically you didn't even want to have a kid with.
Right.
But because you got caught up in the lust as well, with the drink or with the physical or with the mouthpiece, you fell for the banana in the tailpipe. And so many people don't see that until, unfortunately, it's too late.
Yeah, and you could tell because, like, for example, if a guy walks up to us and our friends and buys us drinks, you could tell that was his intention when I turn around and say, oh, thank you, have a nice one. Like, wait,
shit.
What?
Right.
Where are you going?
Right.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Right.
I thought you were just being nice, and then we get into it,
Right.
And then it's like,
we're talking about a $7 rum and Coke or a $9 margarita. Like
the intentions.
Correct.
You buy me a drink, and I just say thank you, and then you see the reaction. I'm just like, that was your intention the whole time.
That's interesting. You actually say that. Like, so let's talk about this then. What would be the proper approach then? And this is for other men out there, right? That approach women, right? What would be the proper approach if someone did approach you guys at a bar or something like that? Like, should it be a drink first, or should it be, hey, how are you doing? Da 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 da. Like, would you be interested in having a drink with me, or because I mean, I'm gonna say this right now. Like, if you guys are together, I think it'd be any dude that comes up to you, like I give him that because both of y'all are really pretty, right? So wow, you know what I mean? Like, he gotta have some balls fucking to come to both y'all at the same time, right? I feel like that, right? Like, because I mean, usually a dude is gonna approach one person, but if you guys are together, it's like already like it's already difficult, So whoever overcomes that, like, definitely hands down to him. But what is the proper way to approach then?
Yeah, I feel like anywhere, it doesn't even have to be like a bar. It could be the movies, the mall. But it's like you kind of said, it's like, how are you? Like, can I get to know you? Mm-hmm. It starts with a conversation to where you're asking me if, like, I'm interested to talk with you before you just go straight into it.
And assume.
Also, assume. It's the location. Because I feel like, I personally, you don't go to a bar to find somebody. If I'm with my girls, mm-hmm. I'm there to have a good time with my girls. Uh-huh. So if you're coming up to me while I'm there, that might not be the perfect timing.
Gotcha.
Now, if you said something like, can I get your number so maybe tomorrow or next week I could take you out or I could take you to the movies, that's a different approach than coming up and be like, yo, let me get y'all some shots and then an after party or like, just chill out, because it's like that's not really what I want to do. That might be what you want to do.
Right. No, I like that you said that, though, because I think most men are out with the intent and the assumption that if you are out with your friends or whatever, right, that you kind of are open to being approached.
Yeah. And that's the mistake that they make.
Right. No, that's true. Like, I think that I just think that we think different in that way, right? Because there's been lots of times where I would be out and buy somebody a drink and maybe it doesn't go anywhere, right? But my assumption is that, hey, let me open the door with a drink, right? I never really went up and just kind of say, hey, like, hey, would you be interested in having a drink? Because I always thought the proper way to do it was, hey, let me send a drink over first, right, to get your attention, right, and then let me open the door. But I'm realizing and I'm learning as we're going here too, right, from what you guys are saying, the proper way is, hey, let me make sure this is the right way to do it. Mm-hmm. When you guys are out, the right approach.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Would you like a drink?
Yeah.
What kind of drink do you want? Because like sending over a drink, that's nice too, but I do think that me personally, I would respect someone more if they came up and said, hey, I was looking at you mm-hmm. and I want to know if I can buy you a drink. Right. And if so, like, what kind of drink do you want? Then just like sending over some shots. It's like, oh yeah, that's from him. And you look over and he's like,
Oh, right. And I think a lot of dudes just do that,
a lot of
right?
dudes do.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I guess going back on the social media thing that we were talking about with Will was and Kourtney, I know you mentioned this earlier. If a guy does message you, right, and I know that you mentioned that you were on like the spiritual journey, right? If a guy does message you, do you feel like he has like negative intentions towards you? Like in a way, like what I mean by negative is just like, hey, I'm trying to get you to go out with me, or I'm trying to get something from you, right? Like, do you think are you able to determine that by the message that they're sending, or are you able to determine that by maybe going and looking at their profile? How are you able to determine that?
Yeah, it's a little bit of all of that. Your profile, like what's your recent post? Like if it's something that's very inappropriate or something like that, then I
like with another chick or something like that, or?
With another chick, or just something that's I'm trying to think, like, what's an example?
Who you're following.
Yeah, like who you're following to, who influences you, I guess is a good one.
That's interesting.
Because there's a lot of, I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of guys' profiles where you could go on and you click on who they're following, right, and you're just scrolling through a bunch of IG models, and it's like, I personally wouldn't want to associate myself with a guy.
Okay. I think it's relevant, yeah.
That's interesting.
Or like they might have a girl's name in the bio, like, ooh, you're in a relationship with
me?
Like,
right. It seems like you do your homework on all this stuff.
She does. She really does.
Because you don't trust anyone. And you know what? I'm glad you do that. I'm going to say that right now, because I wouldn't want, like, someone basically treating you the wrong way, right? I want, like, I'm glad you do that, right? And I think more women should be doing that out there, right? They should be taking the time, understand who the person is, what they're getting into, and
like, it could save you from heartbreak. I mean, I know probably all of us in the room have been through something, you know, where it kind of messes up with your trust and how you approach situations now, because it's like, well, if that person did that, what does that tell me about other people? Now you can hurt me this person could hurt me if I open up. So you have to really be careful. And I am personally a detective, and especially when it comes to my sisters too. Like, we have a younger sister. I'm always like, okay, who is this? Let me see.
Oh, who's messaging you?
Instagram? And I'm going through all of it, because you might. Social media doesn't say anything. I mean, everything, but you might find something.
Right.
You know?
No, 100%.
You might need to dig into.
There's always a
bit
footprint
more.
out there somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you put the effort in, you will find something. Like, and you at least will know if that was a good person or not. You know what I mean? I'm like I said, I'm really glad you did that, because after we heard the story, after this lady being with this guy for almost a year, had a baby, and he was married to another chick the whole time. I mean. Like, you know, I think about, like, that must have been so devastating when she saw them in Target. Like, she saw him with his real family. Like,
wow.
I mean, and we were, like, trying to understand, like, how can somebody even get away with this, right? Even at this time, right? And she probably didn't do her homework like you do, right? And like I said, I'm glad you do. That protects you. But I feel like there was red flags along the way that maybe she just missed. That she was, I mean, I think he was abusive, like verbally, right?
Verbally and mentally, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he attacked with a lot of derogative, basically try to control through the verbal rhetoric.
Right, which gave him power.
Yep.
Right? He was the dominant one. He controlled the situation by doing that. Whether he put her down, however he was doing it, he had then control over how she thinks, what she does, da-da-da-da. Right? I'm not saying, and I'm not saying in a sense when I say control, hey, you go do this. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm talking about the mental control, right? Of, hey, she trusts me. I can go do whatever it is I want to go do.
Take advantage
Exactly.
of that,
Right? And that's what I mean by the control part. Like, okay. Yeah, I mean, it was just, like I said, it's good that you do that, and both of you guys should always do that, and don't trust any dude. I'm going to just say that. I don't give a shit if people get pissed, but don't trust men. So, if there's a hidden agenda, you'll find it.
You will find it. Yeah.
So
I think everything done in the dark comes to light.
You better tell him, Detective Kennedy.
Yeah, for reals.
I hope he's not viewing right now.
I mean, he knows already. Like, I know he knows already. You know,
Were you guys friends before?
We were.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we were
I think that's
friends.
great. Like, you know, being friends and then building together. I think that's good.
Yeah, and to just be truthful from the beginning. If you see this person, you're like, okay, I could really, like, I actually really like this guy, or vice
Well, I hope
versa.
so.
Yeah. Be honest from the beginning. This is what stuff I won't put up with.
Yeah.
This will make me walk
Yeah.
out the door.
Communication.
You know, communication, because he told me a lot of things that he wouldn't, respect from a female,
Right.
and I told him a lot. And then,
Gotcha.
of course, our parents, they've been in a successful relationship.
Oh, that's good.
How many years?
20
And 5 kids
yeah,
together.
that's
and
awesome.
25 years.
That's like unheard of these days.
Yeah,
So that's
it
really nice to
is.
hear that.
So I
you know?
go to them a lot, and I might just say, like, come for just advice, in general advice,
Right.
because obviously it is rare to see that, and it's like, that's what people want. You know, you want that.
Right,
Well, some
right.
people, not all people,
Gotcha.
but yeah.
Do you guys live together already, or?
We
that's
do.
awesome.
I mean, I still have an apartment out in Arizona that I'm probably gonna stay for a little bit longer. So
you don't live here?
I mean, I'm here for break technically.
Oh,
but
okay.
I
I didn't
do have
know
an
that.
apartment. I had it there for school, but then I just graduated, so I'm gonna stay there for a little bit and then come back, and then we're probably gonna
Gotcha.
figure out.
What about
Did you mean if she lives with her significant other?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, she does
Oh,
it.
no.
Oh.
I mean, yes, technically, yeah. So he's there right now at the apartment.
Okay,
in
so you do
Arizona.
live together.
Yes,
okay.
we do.
You
yeah.
really learn. You really get to know somebody when you live together,
Oh, 100%.
right?
That's what my
right?
mom too. My mom was like, before you take things serious,
Yeah.
Live
how
with
is
that
it living
person.
with it? Because a lot of things are exposed from that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We'll get
Yeah.
Whether
How
it's the
clean are
cleaning.
they?
I was just about to say that. Oh
You know,
man.
do you do
That's a
dishes?
big
Do you
thing.
know how to do laundry? Like,
Yeah.
Can you cook?
You know,
Can you clean?
yeah.
God.
Do I need to teach you how to do it? It's okay if I just be honest.
Yeah.
Just
But
let
yeah.
me know.
Living together,
Yeah.
that is very important.
Oh, yeah, it's
That
going
is
to expose
is.
the weaknesses, the strengths, and going to expose the flaws. You know, you're going to have a lot of differences that you didn't realize beforehand that were differences. So that is definitely key in getting to know your potential mate. Like, you know, a lot of people say, oh, that's called shacking. Well, call it shacking, call it whatever, but it's something for the most part that will give you a bird's eye view if you want to stay with this person long term or if I need to make some adjustments. And if those adjustments aren't made, then guess what? We need to sever ties.
100%.
Right.
So Kennedy, Kourtney, in closing, what advice would you give hopeless romantics right now? Like, what do they need to do to find their potential mates?
I mean, I'll start off. I would say, for one, never lose yourself. Keep that confidence. The day is going to come, but I think it's on God's timing. I think you should always continue to work better for yourself, get to where you want to be in life, and that person will come along. I don't think, stressing out about it is not worth it, is what I'm trying to say. Because it will happen when it's supposed to happen.
And what I would say is that I know you probably hear this a lot, but you don't have to be in a rush to get to that point, because the biggest thing is if you do rush it, you might end up in a situation that you don't want to be in. Yeah. And so, like you said, keep yourself strong, and that person will come when the time is right.
Yeah.
Marc, that was powerful.
No, it was.
Kourtney, Kennedy, the twin killers. Man, look, you blew us away this evening. Y'all ready for next week?
Yeah, this was
definitely
fun.
I think this is fun.
Yeah.
I don't want to end it. I know we got to get ready for New Year's Eve and all that good stuff, but at the end of the day, like, it's going to be more powerful topics that you all going to provide some very keenful insight on, and just get ready to bring some thunder and lightning. That's all I'm saying. Because
2023.
Exactly. It's 2023, and we need to really educate and empower a lot of people right now that's lost. Not just here in the U.S., but globally. You know, in closing, before we leave, do you all realize so many people are leaving, going to other countries right now, searching for love? That's how bad it is.
I'm tempted to do that shit. And this is my reason why, though. I feel like a lot of American women. So I grew up in Germany. And then my dad was in the military. I was there all my life. I didn't come to the United States until I was 21. And when I came over here, I hated it. I've been here for I don't know how long, I can't remember how long, but I've been here for a while now. But I mean, the temptation for me is there, because I feel like American women are so like superficial with everything, and it sucks. Like, I feel like European women are just not that way. Like, when I lived in the Netherlands, I feel like they weren't all about like social media, none of that stuff. It's you. Not every pretty chick out there felt the need to sit there and have to put themselves out there like that. You know what I mean? It wasn't like hey, I got to do this because I'm pretty. You know what I mean? It's just normal, I feel like. And I feel like that's why a lot of men are going there. That's just my opinion, but.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that, but I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like, people are going global trying to find love. You know, they trying to find that like, people are tired of playing the games and the manipulation, the exploitation. Like, it's just every day you're trying to figure out, is this person really loving me, or for what I can provide, or is it material driven? Like, when you got to play that type of chess game every day,
It gets
like,
exhausting, right?
mentally exhausting. So once you're mentally exhausted, it's going to affect and impact everything else you got going on. And some people, it's going to run crazy. Some people commit suicide behind this stuff.
They do.
And it's not that serious, though. That's what we tell people. But I'm telling you, look, we got so many agendas that we're going to cover in the next, 30, 40 episodes. So I hope y'all ready to buckle up, because it's gonna be a hell of a ride.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I want y'all to come back. This is fun.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
So look, it was great having you all, guys. I hope you all had a good time. And like I said, hey, the next show is gonna be a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more impactful, and definitely a little bit more inspiring and motivating. So get ready.
Thank you guys for having
thanks
us
for
on
having
here.
us.
Take care, everyone.
Pleasure.